Good morning. Just about 11 o'clock on this Wednesday morning. I'm Darlene Jones.
And I'm Kirsten Delgado, taking a live look now at the Skyway Bridge, where we're expecting that bridge to close ahead of a landfall on the west side of Florida in this particular area, Gulf Coast, for Hurricane Milton.
Yeah, in addition to this bridge, we also anticipate closures of the Howard Franklin Bridge, the Gandy Bridge, and the Courtney Campbell Causeway, all anticipated to close at some point this afternoon. You can see already pretty rough conditions there along the water, and that is why we anticipate these closures. Dangerous conditions anticipated from storm surge there along the Tampa Bay area.
And Hurricane Milton slightly weakened to a Category 4 storm, still a major hurricane considered extraordinarily dangerous. So it's something we're taking still very seriously, especially those on the West Coast where there is, of course, landfall going to be happening.
Yeah, and as we continue to track Hurricane Milton, let's get the latest update from certified meteorologist Brian Shields in Severe Weather Center 9. We know 4 counties have already issued mandatory evacuations, Brian.
Yeah, so again, watching those evacuations, and as both of you were mentioning, you know, it's not necessarily all everyone in the county. It's for specific reasons, low-lying areas and being along the coast. What were some of the other reasons? Mobile homes, thank you.
Yeah,
special needs where you need to have
electricity dependent, obviously.
So as you get those alerts that say, hey, your county's been evacuated, it's not. That's why thank you too for kind of you know, getting that good information out there.
It's important to mention. I know Seminole County had a little snafu this morning, but we just want to reiterate that it is not a county-wide evacuation there. It is specific areas that we just mentioned, Brian.
Yeah, and the emergency manager's doing a good job trying to stay on that. Here's the very latest advisory. Winds are at 145 as expected. It is on track. Again, we should see the winds continue to nudge down a little bit more so by the next advisory, and then even after that, not too much more, but it was 160, I think, when I joined you at about 1 in the morning. Now we're down to about 145, and also on track moving to the northeast at 17 in Cassie. That's a little sliver faster, just a touch faster, and we will see it accelerate a little bit more down the road, but this will put it very close to the Sarasota, Anna Maria Island area by the time we hit 8 p.m. with winds of 125 miles per hour. So it's looking more, it's kind of 3 or 4 making landfall. It's going to give or take 5-10 miles per hour, but it looks like landfall at about a 3 just before midnight, could be before, maybe right around midnight, and then it rolls right across central Florida. So if you've been hearing about, hey, it shifted south or it shifted a little bit north, it's on track. And for us, a little shift isn't going to be a huge difference. This is going to be a very significant impact for us here in central Florida. Don't mean that in a scary way, but we have a hurricane that's going to be sitting on top of us, and this cone is just where the center may go. It's a very large area. And 8 in the morning, it'll still be very close to Osceola and Brevard, maybe a little faster than that. The Hurricane Center has been a little conservative, a little bit slow with some of the speed on the tail end of it. But still, tomorrow morning, we're going to have tropical storm to hurricane conditions around. Now, you can see it earlier when I joined you last night and overnight. You could see that eye was very well defined. Now, not as much, and it's kind of lifting its way up. And as it lifts up north in latitude, it does weaken. But the wind field actually will expand a bit more as we go through. And you can see it here. Here's the eye of this, and you can see it very well defined here. And Cassie and I were just looking at this coming on shore near the Cape Coral area, looking over toward Fort Myers, a very big rain band. This is going to knock out some power along the coast. This is tropical storm force winds that are starting to roll on shore in southwest Florida. For us, we've been dealing with some rain, but Cassie and I have been monitoring that tornado threat. Tornado watches up, especially our southern zones, but all of us run a risk of a tornado even in our northern areas. So know that behind the scenes, we're monitoring that. Those tornado warnings are down just to the south of us as of now. So some of us dealing with some rain, others dealing with some of those dry pockets as expected. But once we get into the afternoon, so just about an hour from now, those tornado warnings down to the south, we need to watch that because our severe threat is going to be going up. Now, taking a quick look at the Saffir-Simpson scale, right now this is a Category 4 hurricane with winds of 145. It'll be on top of us as a Category 1, 74 to 95. Even if it was a Category 2, say it didn't weaken as much, right now it's on track, but say it didn't weaken, all the preps we did stand as well for a Category 2. So if it's a little bit stronger, we're ready. If it's a little bit weaker, good, but at this point, it's going to be a widespread event here for all of our counties. Computer models bring this right on shore, still right near the Sarasota area, north of Fort Myers, close to Tampa Bay, and this is very critical. The wobbles are critical, not for us, but for the west coast of Florida because of where it comes on shore and south, that's where there's going to be that storm surge of about 10 to 15 feet, right? So the wobble's very critical for the West Coast. Now, the West Coast, there's going to be a huge storm surge kind of all across, but right where it comes on shore. For us, a little wobble here, a little wobble there. Not a big difference because of the angle this is taking, it's coming right across. And in fact, the heaviest weather for us, what's going to be different is when this moves into us, the heaviest weather is where the eye is and north of it. So if the center is rolling right through Polk, Osceola into Brevard, well, that's not good for us because we're going to be on the north action is going to be on top of us. And that means the really heavy rain and the flooding rain that we're going to be dealing with. So what do we do today? Well, it's a long day ahead. We're done the preparations. We're just kind of hanging tight, high anxiety time. Charge those devices. Make sure everything's charged up because even soon as Cassie and I are watching these storms down to the south, some of the ones that could be severe that may knock out power for some of us as we get into the afternoon. Have everything charged. Know where the flashlights are too. Don't be like me, always trying to figure out where the heck we kept the flashlights. Have them nearby because tonight it'll be dark, of course, if the power goes out. And sleep in a safe spot. That is very important to me. There's going to be trees down. The winds are going to come in one direction and then the eye passes and then they'll switch in another direction, which makes it easier for some trees to come down and the tree branches. So in your home, sleep away from windows tonight and sleep kind of, if you have trees on one side, sleep on the other side of the home. So definitely be mindful of where you sleep. So we're going to be monitoring that. Now, be in place where you need to be by noon today. Now, let's get to the coast and get into Brevard County. We have a news conference right now. Let's get the fresh information from along our coast. Here it is.
Starting to come in. John, what time do you think we'll actually start seeing the true effects of this or the extended effects of it?
Yeah, so we'll, like you said, we'll see continue to deteriorate throughout the day, but I think we'll start to see those heavier winds arrive probably early evening in the 6 to 7, maybe as early as 5 p.m. range. And then we talk about those heavier winds, those upper winds. It's going to happen probably overnight into sunrise and continue through early morning is what we're hearing from the Weather Service right now.
Okay. So, you know, when we talk about this storm and really any storm, what keeps us safe is being prepared. Having done everything on the front end so that we just ride the storm out and everybody comes out safe. And that prepared goes to shutters, last minute prep of getting the shutters up at your house, cleaning up any existing debris out in the yard so it's not blowing around, lawn furniture, all of those things. But it also extends to, let's make sure that as this storm starts to come in, we are hunkering down. We're not out driving around. We're not out trying to see what's going on. And then after the storm, the same thing applies. Don't go out and look at what kind of damage can be out there. We could have down power lines. We could have any type of flooding issues going on. So what we're going to ask you to do is just stay in, let us in our capacity assess the county, make sure the areas are safe, and then we'll get you back out there. But the most important thing in everybody coming out of this with unharmed is be prepared. Have all your food, all your things to hydrate with, your medications. Have your pets inside, taking care of everybody. And at the end of this, we'll all be safe. So, John, I don't know if you want to add to that or not.
I do. Yeah, I'll talk about a couple things that go right in line with that. Right, again, using today to tighten up, and then hunkering down is going to be such a big thing. But for folks who are maybe concerned about their safety. Maybe you're in a mobile manufactured home, you're in a low-lying or flood-prone area, you're someone who's going to be power dependent, because we're going to have pretty widespread power outages as this goes. And we have 3 shelters open. Folks are welcome to come to those. We have a North Brevard shelter, which is Walter Butler. We have a Center Brevard shelter, which is Wickham, and then we have a South Brevard shelter, which is South Mainland. So we're geographically distributed through the county. And again, when we do our sheltering, we really zero in on where those threats are going to be, and then identify those most vulnerable communities. So if it's a wind community or if it's a flooding community, we try to get shelters as close to them as we can. And again, if anyone has any questions, they need transportation to those things, they can call 211, and we'll work to make that happen.
Yeah, 211, a great resource all the time here in Brevard County, but certainly during times like this. Just a little bit more. John talked about power loss. Obviously, a lot of folks today have generators, both portable and sustained generators. If you have a portable generator, make sure that you've got proper ventilation. Make sure that if you're refueling it, you're not doing it in a place or while it's extremely hot, so it's going to catch fire, any of those things. Also, if you look at your generator and you've got 150 cords plugged into it, that's probably not a good idea. All right? If it would make an electrician pass out, get rid of those. Try and limit how much you're using them and just hold on. we're going to see a great amount of resources that are going to go to the west coast of Florida. Obviously they're going to take the biggest impact of this. So our electric companies, all of them are ready to go, ready to roll. But power will come back on as soon as they can get it to back to the grids and everything. John, bridges. I know that's always a big source of contention for everybody. So we don't close the causeways in Brevard County prior to the storm or during the storm. As soon as the storm passes and John gives us the all clear that we can go out and conduct an actual visual inspection of the bridges, we're going to shut those bridges down momentarily. They'll all be closed. We're going to shut them down and inspect the bridges. We're also going to give our coastal cities a chance to check their areas, their power lines, their septic, everything else that could possibly go wrong and put somebody at risk. When they give us a thumbs up, collectively, all of them, when they give us a thumbs up, we'll release those bridges. I think last time we had them up and running in about 20, 25 minutes. Ideally, that's going to be this time. Rather than coming out and sitting in line waiting for us to open the bridge and backing up traffic, just stay home. We'll come back on this same thing on our live feed on the government channel, and we'll let you know the bridges are now open and you can get back and check on your things. Shelters, we talked about. Evacuations.
I know we're getting some questions about evacuations, and again, like we've been talking this whole time, right? We're not talking about a storm that has any large effect from a life safety for storm surge, for our barrier islands. So we don't have to do that large-scale evacuation. One of the things our teams work on and the supporting teams is always being very strategic in that right resource at the right place. So we didn't issue evacuation orders because the threat isn't there, but what we did do is, again, open shelters for those who are most vulnerable to the threats we're going to see. Again, it doesn't mean if you don't feel safe, if you want to go to a friend's house, a neighbor's house who maybe you think has a stronger home, by all means, go do that. It's a great time to continue to build relationships within your community. But if you don't have those options, we have shelters for anyone who needs them.
Yeah. You can always go to your website if you want to share it with them.
Our website is www.embrevard.com.
Ours is brevardsheriff.com. But also what we'll be doing is in this live feed, if things start to change, we open more shelters or anything of that nature, we'll get you that information as quickly as we can in the comments section. We'll post up something that lets you know.
Good morning. We are listening in. We were listening in to a news conference. Another update from the Brevard County Sheriff Wayne Ivey and the emergency operations folks over there. I think the big thing is really what they already told us yesterday is that there would be no evacuations for Brevard County. The shelters there are already open. They opened at 9 a.m. No curfew planned, and they are not closing any of the causeways prior to or during the storms, but they will be closed immediately following to assess any damage.
Yeah, and they said the process to assess those bridges is typically pretty fast, about 20-25 minutes. So he's just urging people, stay home, don't build any line backups, any traffic trying to get across those bridges, because it's going to be about a half hour before they're back up and running. Now, evacuations, meantime, are still underway, though, at a Brevard County Hospital right now.
Channel 9's Melanie Holt has been monitoring that at Cape Canaveral Hospital for us since yesterday and shows us this morning where the evacuations stand right now. Mel.
Here at Cape Canaveral Hospital in Cocoa Beach, evacuations are still underway, and I want to show you the reason why. If you look just to the side of the hospital here, what you see right there is the Banana River. And the concern right now for many here in Brevard County is that 3 to 5 feet of storm surge that is possible with Hurricane Milton. So they just aren't taking any chances here at this Health First facility. I was here yesterday when those evacuations began. They started with ICU patients and say they have about 24 others that need to be evacuated as well. They hope to have that whole process complete by 3 p.m. this afternoon. But once that happens, they plan to shut down this hospital, lock it down, and prepare for the storm. So that means if you're in need of a hospital in this area, this is not the place to come. It will be closed until after the storm, when they can come back, make sure everything is clear, and then bring patients back in. Until then, I'm told, the other Health First facilities here in the county will not be closed. Places like Holmes Regional, places like Vieira Hospital. So there are still places to go. But they want to get this process completed here before the worst of the storm passes over our area. Reporting from Cape Canaveral Hospital in Cocoa Beach, Melanie Holtz, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Mel. We know one of the shelters readily accessible to people there in Brevard County is in Cocoa. There's another one in Micco and another one in Melbourne. That one at Wickham Park Community Center, the one in Micco at South Mainland Community Center.
They also said they do have some other locations on standby if those available shelters do get to capacity. So there are means and resources in place to get that done. Meantime, recently in parts of Central Florida, flooding has been such a problem just during a normal afternoon shower. So it's understandable that residents in one neighborhood in Altamont Springs near the Little Wekiva River, they're nervous and bracing for what Milton brings.
The big concern, of course, is flooding. This is a community that has flooded a handful of times since 2017 when we were dealing with Hurricane Irma. Channel 9's Jeff Deal is live there for us again this morning. And Jeff, certainly people have to be on edge. They have the sandbags out already, I see.
Yes, folks here are very concerned about this. You know, like you said, they have flooded several times before. And just to set the scene in this neighborhood, just beyond this row of houses on this side of the street, the Little Wekiva River is directly behind these homes. So that's the concern whenever they do get a storm like this, that the banks could overflow and send the water into this neighborhood. As you mentioned, folks are sandbagging up. You can see these folks have a tarp and then 5 or 6 layers of sandbags. That's how concerned they are about the water getting into their garage here. They have the same number of bags right by their front door as well. And in this community, it seems like the government is also concerned, or at least about the possibility of flooding out here again. You can see right over here across the street, there's a stake up there with a bright orange tip. These are stakes that they use to line the road so that if they do get the kind of flooding like they saw in Irma, that the emergency vehicles can at least know where the road is and know where they need to drive in order to get into this community and help people out.
Oh man, this is crazy. You know, I saw people here in canoes.
That was how neighbors in Altamont Springs described Little Wekiva Road following Hurricane Irma in 2017. The road looked more like a lake. We traveled the neighborhood in a canoe back then and saw homes flooded out, a minivan too. Other homes surrounded by water. That was after the nearby Little Wekiva River spilled over, leaving families devastated. In some homes, people needed to be pulled to safety by emergency crews and high water trucks. That's why neighbors here are doing what they can, shoring up their homes with sandbags and hoping they don't see water levels here like they did in 2017. We spoke with one neighbor who just moved in less than a year ago.
My husband is native Floridian and he has never known the Little Wekiva flood. The Little Wekiva is about 100 feet from here, just behind these houses. I'm watching the level of that. We've got like 5 feet for it to rise before it's going to pose a real threat here.
But neighbors tell us it does rise quickly here in this neighborhood, also flooded during Ian in 2022. So understandably, people get nervous when they see a storm coming like this. That's why they are doing these preparations. One homeowner showed us that he boosted all of his furniture up on cinder blocks just in case the water does get into his home again. Reporting live in Altamont Springs, Jeff Deal, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Jeff. And earlier this week, Seminole County emergency operations folks told us that they have new high water vehicles now. Those vehicles able to go into 50 inches of water and transport about 28 people at a time. And so they're prepared. They're trying to do the best they can. They also told us earlier this week they're not going to be pumping any water because there's simply no place for it to go.
Right.
They'd just be, you know, basically pushing it to other municipalities.
Yeah, we did have a live interview this morning earlier in Eyewitness News with Seminole County Management Director Alan Harris, and he made it clear that, like we were talking about yesterday with post-Ian, how the water kind of settles. He said, unfortunately, the St. John's is already high, you know, and we're going to have the little creeks and rivers that once the rain passes, we think it's over. It's not. We're going to have the same impacts we had during Hurricane Ian, and that is that water's going to settle, and it's just going to be a problem that we have to wait for it to drain out.
Yeah, and they do have evacuation orders in parts of Central Florida, mandatory evacuations in some areas.
It's really for our most vulnerable communities here. It's not right for the entire counties where you're talking about Seminole, Flagler, Volusia, and Marion, and of course, it extends to residents in mobile homes, low-lying areas, for residents with special needs. For example, if you need to be in a shelter with electricity, if you fear your home that you're going to lose power and you're electricity dependent, that's when you want to go to a shelter, because the reality is that that is when you will get the help you need. Mandatory evacuations in some counties do include some curfews. In Flagler County, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Also in Volusia County, a mandatory curfew will be in effect 8 p.m. until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So to check in your area, if you should be evacuated, you can head over to WFTV.com, and that, of course, will give you the latest information. The second we get information from our friends, our resources, we will let you know. That's what we're here for. And so there's a lot going on at once, and we're happy to to hold your hand, walk you through it, and give you every information step by step.
We will get through this together. Our coverage of Hurricane Milton continues just after this break.
I was involved in a bad motorcycle accident in Daytona Beach, and attorney Dan Newland got me $850,000.
Involved in a car accident? Let's get started. Call me at 407-888-8000.
Thank you, Dan.
These are implant dentures, a new solution for tooth loss that is changing lives.
I have a phone full of selfies now. I think I look great.
They made it so easy. They worked with my schedule, and everything happened at the office.
Now I eat what I want. I'm confident in my smile.
It's a game changer.
If you want your smile back
at a price that works for you, you need to call them now.
Secure, affordable, and made to last. Implant dentures, now from Aspen Dental. Call or go online to make your appointment today.
I'm Dan Bro with OrlandoSellNow.com, your trusted local home buyer, and I want to buy your house. Whether it's a total fixer-upper or in perfect condition, OrlandoSellNow.com is the easiest way to sell your house. When you sell your house to OrlandoSellNow.com, there's no fees, no commissions, no banks, and no repairs. Imagine selling your house in just one day on your terms without the stress. Just go to OrlandoSellNow.com for a free, no-obligation cash offer 24 hours a day. That's OrlandoSellNow.com.
I was riding my bicycle home and was struck by a commercial vehicle. I am glad that I contacted Mr. Leach, and thanks to him and his firm, they were able to recover $2.3 million for my pain and suffering. You should choose Mr. Leach. That's a fact.
Unlike alcohol, there's no easy way for law enforcement to detect how high you are when driving. A DUI can more than double your car insurance. And driving high affects more than just you. DUI crashes increase in states with legalized marijuana, putting everyone at risk. Don't drive high. It can raise your premiums or end your life.
When people stop me to ask, what's my case worth, here's what I tell them. All law firms are not the same. You see, the most important part of anyone's injury case is the firm you hire. The insurance company knows exactly which firms fight for full value and which firms will settle your case for pennies on the dollar. Our firm has recovered billions and billions and billions. $3 billion last year alone. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
We are bracing and are prepared to receive a major hit. We're facing this with the seriousness it deserves, but also with the determination that we will get through this.
That was the latest press conference this morning at 10:30 from the governor, giving us the latest. They've done so much to prepare for this storm. We'll get into it over time, but it was really quite a thorough effort to get us to the point of preparation we are right now across the state. So thank you for joining us here on Eyewitness News. I'm Kirsten Delgado.
And I'm Darlene Jones. We want to get you caught up on the latest with Hurricane Milton and the track of where it is right now as it heads closer to Florida. Certified meteorologist Brian Shields in Severe Weather Center 9.
And monitoring this down to the south of us, there's been those tornado warnings. So know that us behind the scenes, Cassie and I are monitoring for the threat of any tornadoes. The tornado threat is a little higher to the south of us right now, but watching all that lifting in. But let's take you forward, and Cassie's about to go county by county with the winds and the rain in just a second. She is behind me working on that. You see here, this is 5 o'clock today. We're going to get heavier rain bands. In this could knock out some power, some stronger rain bands, but also watching in this as we hit the afternoon, we're going to watch out for the tornado risk. That's going going to be with us. That's why I have that tornado watch up for a lot of us. And the center of it right here, most likely as a Category 4 still at this time. And then pulling forward at 9 o'clock, it's going to be getting very close to landfall. Landfall could be a little before midnight, right around midnight, pulling into the Sarasota area. Now, every storm's a little different. This one's going to be a little odd as it lifts up to the north, because look at the dry air sneaking in on the south side, while we'll have a core of super heavy rain on the north side of this. So this is by 9 o'clock, center right about here. Then by 3 in the morning, the center will be right near Osceola and Polk, somewhere right in here. That's where the center will be. To the north, that's where the really heavy rain is. And in this, we're going to be tracking those hurricane wind gusts overnight. So definitely a little scary overnight, no doubt, when a storm's coming in. But some of us, the wind, but without the rain, others getting clocked by that heavy rain. And then moving forward, the center should start to work offshore tomorrow morning, and it will gradually weaken as it moves across central Florida. And you can still see here, though, that strong onshore flow. So monitoring that surge in the coastal flooding, Flagler and Volusia, and down through Brevard. And then through the day tomorrow, we'll be seeing this moving offshore. Still gusty winds, though, tomorrow. But again, everything will be starting to work off to the east of us. As far as the rain goes, it's some of us, not a lot, right? It's going to be very kind of a close call for some of us with the rain. That dry pocket, if the center is nearby, south of there, not as much rain, where we could get a couple inches of rain, which obviously we could handle. We get that in the summer, no doubt. To the north, though, there will be some pockets, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 inches of rain. So we'll see if this is kind of right here, maybe over here. But where we see that, we'll get some flooding. So on guard for that. But we made the prep, so we're good. So again, hurricane conditions coming, watching for the loss of power down trees and branches, not all the trees. We're not getting wiped out. We're going to have a nice fall weekend ahead. We're going to have some stuff to look forward to. Areas of flooding, worse weather will arrive as we get into tonight and early tomorrow. Now, one thing you could do, I do want everyone sleeping in a safe area tonight. Maybe with the kids, you could kind of build a fort in that safe area that's away from windows, and have a sound machine, battery powered, of course. Have a sound machine, just because it's a little scary at night with the wind howling. All right, let's get over to Cassie with a county by county look. I hope it didn't take too much of your time.
Right,
Take someone else's time. You go ahead.
That's all right. But I really wanted to hit on the winds a lot, and we're going to go county by county through those, because just like Brian was mentioning, kind of centering that storm over Polk and Osceola County right around that 3 to 5 o'clock hour, you can see just that. And this bullseye of red, that's sustained winds, 74 miles per hour and higher. Sustained winds, 58 to about 74 in the areas of the orange, kind of surrounding it on the outer ring of the bullseye, sliding right across the area through our early morning hours on Thursday. Now, Polk County, you're going to be the closest to the storm system when it is at its strongest as it moves onshore. So this is where I think we could have some of the stronger wind gusts. We've been talking there again, the potential 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts, easily possible. And just going in hand with what Brian was saying, kind of dropping some of those rain totals, because a lot of our southern locations may be on the southern side of this storm system, which we anticipate a little bit of a drier pocket on the south side. So you can see the rain totals in Osceola, and you'll see it in Brevard County here in just a moment. But you're also going to have the windiest weather as we go through the early morning hours tomorrow. Wind gusts over in parts of Brevard County, especially on the south side of the county, anywhere from 90 to about 105. We start to move northward. We still have hurricane force wind gusts. We're looking at 75 plus in parts of Seminole County. Coming up in just a little bit, we have all the other counties updated. We'll get to that when we have some more time, and we'll talk more about some of these winds that we can expect as we head into the early morning hours on Thursday. Darlene and Kirsten.
All right, thank you, Cassie. Our coverage of Hurricane Milton will continue just after this break.
Advent Health wants to keep you safe and healthy during Hurricane Milton. Starting 8 a.m. Wednesday through 8 p.m. Thursday, we're offering free urgent care video visits for common health conditions. Just download the Advent Health app and use code Milton. For more information, visit AdventHealthVideoVisits.com. Be well and know Advent Health is always here for your whole health.
Diabetes treatment can cost hundreds of dollars a year. Who can afford that?
COPD can cost thousands of dollars a year. I'm not sure what's harder, having COPD or
paying for it.
If you're Medicare eligible with diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, you don't need a financial burden, too. Freedom Health Special Needs Plans are designed for you.
With our variety of Medicare plans, you can access benefits that best fit your needs.
Freedom offers plans specifically designed for individuals with diabetes, COPD, and heart disease. That's impressive.
There are some real financial pluses, too.
$174 back in your monthly Social Security check. $80 per month for groceries and utilities. A monthly allowance for over-the-counter items, plus dental, vision, and hearing coverage.
It's not easy finding answers.
Unless you know who to call.
Call Freedom at 866-867-8605.
At Empire today, we're dedicated to giving you an amazing experience with more products on sale than ever before. So we're offering up to 45% off fully installed tile during our fall flooring sale. That's up to 45% off your entire project. Trust the professionals at Empire to always provide honest and upfront pricing and experience a better way to shop for floors. Don't wait. Schedule now.
800-588-2300 Empire.
It's an unimaginable trauma. A woman or girl is raped and gets pregnant. Then she's forced to have her attacker's baby. That's now the law in Florida, an extreme abortion ban with no real exception for rape. No matter where you stand on abortion, that goes too far. Government has no right putting anyone through that. Government has no right making that decision for you. Voting yes on 4 protects women and girls and stops government's cruel abortion ban.
I was crashed into by a semi, bleeding and trapped in my car. I really thought I was going to die. The next day, an insurance person showed up in my hospital room. My wife told me, forget that guy. We're calling attorney Dan Newland. That 1-minute call really saved my life. Dan got me $980,000, and I'm eternally grateful.
If you've been involved in a car accident, allow me to fight for you. Call me now at 407-888-8000.
Good morning. It is 11:30 on your Wednesday morning, on our Wednesday morning. I'm Darlene Jones.
And I'm Kirsten Delgado. I want to get you back quickly to certified meteorologist Cassie Cramy, because there's a lot of people concerned about what's happening county by county.
Right.
So let's take a look at that.
Well, and that's just it. We want to let everybody know that we are watching and preparing for them as well. We don't want to get through some of these counties and not get through the others. Sometimes for time constraints, we have to bounce out. But we're going to start off where we left off. Seminole County, again, Thursday morning is going to be the heaviest hit time frame for you. Wind gusts 75 miles per hour or more. Rain totals, again, we're in that 8 to 14 inch range. Volusia County, not only will you have the heavy rain impacts, you'll have wind gusts as well, but also you'll have some of that surge, 3 to 5 foot surge. That includes parts of Volusia County as well for the coastline there. We're going to have whipping winds throughout most of the day on Thursday and even into Thursday evening. In Orange County, Thursday early morning is going to be the worst weather time frame for you. That's when the winds will be the strongest. Could get wind gusts 80 miles per hour and higher, and we'll have some of that heavy rain rolling on through. Again, picking up some communities 8 to 14 inches of rainfall. We're talking about Sumter and Lake counties. These counties are quite interesting to forecast for, especially in this scenario when we're expecting the storm system, the center of it, to be on the south side. South of the counties, on the south side of the counties, excuse me, Sumter and Lake County is where you'll have some of those stronger winds. So you may get into that 80, 90 mile per hour wind gusts. We start to move northward, and those wind gusts will lighten just a bit, but we're still anticipating wind gusts 70 to 75 miles per hour in areas like Eustis, Astor, Lake Catherine, Mount Dora. Then into parts of Marion County. Again, our wind gusts expected in that 60 to 75 mile per hour range, and the overnight Wednesday and into early Thursday being your heaviest hit time frame. 6 to 8 inches of rain as well in parts of Marion County. So a lot's going to be happening as we go through the day today. Here within the short term, Brian Shields and I are monitoring the skies, making sure that we don't have any of those spinning cells, the tornadic activity that we so commonly see in these storm systems. And then as we're going to bed tonight and through the overnight is when the worst of that weather arrives. So when we're still kind of waiting for the storm to arrive, it's really key to kind of remember about what we need to do after the storm as well. When we wake up on Thursday morning and throughout the afternoon on Thursday, you've got to stay inside. You have to allow some time for the storm system to really clear the area. Avoid the debris, the down power lines. You have to always always remember you don't know where the lines are down and what kind of chain reaction or down the line, what is being touched by those lines. So avoid down power lines and really anything until things are cleared. Portable generators, we talk a lot about this as well. Use them and use them safely. Outside, away from windows. You don't want those fumes coming inside. And of course, once it is safe to do so, you're going to need to document any of the damage that has happened on your property. Hopefully, you have taken the pre-stages of that and gotten the before, so you can then have the after to give to those insurance claims, because they will be wanting it if you do suffer damage from this storm system. Darlene and Kirsten.
Thank you so much, Cassie, for that update. We also want to get you up to date with the latest developments in the last 30 minutes.
During a news conference, we heard from Brevard County officials, including the sheriff there, Wayne Ivey, telling us that storm preparation should be near completion, as we've been telling you here on Eyewitness News now. Be where you need to be by noon today. It's all about your safety. 3 county shelters in Brevard County are open right now to the community. They've been open now for about 2.5 hours. Also, several shelters in other counties have also open to the public today. Some sandbag operations have now closed, so if you don't have them, unless you can get some from a neighbor, it is too late. A few will remain open until noon. To check those locations county by county, you can head over to our website, WFTV.com.
And a warning here, you know, the team has been very clear here, Brian especially, about when you need to be in place. That's noon, so even though some of those sandbag locations are open until noon, he wants you in place by noon. So unless it's right around the corner at your house, just stay in. Well, there's concern now in Orlando neighborhoods that could flood because of recent rain causing problems. Now we have a hurricane coming.
Yeah, Kirsten, we have told you about flooding in neighborhoods like Delaney Park and Wayview Park. This is video from a recent rainstorm last month, with Milton inching closer here. We took the community concerns to Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer.
Their fears are valid. We're going to get a lot of rain, and if we get what they're projecting, which is 12 to 14 inches, we're going to have some localized flooding, no doubt about it. If you remember, during Ian, both Cherokee and Davis became basically one out of the bank lake between the two, and backed up 5 blocks either way. So hopefully we're not going to have that much rain, but there is definitely going to be flooding, and we're also going to have winds.
We'll, of course, stay on top of this and update you live right here on Channel 9 as we find out about different flood conditions across our area as we prepare for Hurricane Milton.
Heading from the metro to the coast, let's get over to Brevard County, where Channel 9's Melanie Holt is in Cocoa Beach. Melanie, it's real windy out there, huh?
It is at the moment. I can tell you, a few minutes ago, the rain wasn't even really coming down that hard, but we're starting to see that now, the rain kind of coming and going. Out here on Cocoa Beach, we're right near Lori Wilson Park, not far from our bureau here in Brevard County. I can tell you, just a short time ago, those double flags went up. We saw Brevard Ocean Rescue out here putting up that double flag, essentially meaning stay out of the water. Obviously, if you get in there, it's at your own risk at this point, but it's hard to imagine why anyone would want to be out there right now, even ahead of this storm. You can see the surf there. This is going to be an issue later, undoubtedly. I'm going to move just kind of sideways so my photographer Lauren can get some of that water off of his camera lens. But one of the things they're concerned about in this area is storm surge. There is a storm surge warning for Brevard County. We could see 3 to 5 feet, potentially, of storm surge. And of course, that would mean erosion out here along these beaches. The good news is that the beaches are in pretty good shape right now, but depending on just where this storm comes in and how long it hovers in this area, maybe just south of us here, will depend on what type of erosion we do see out here. And I can tell you that later this evening, early in the morning, during the worst of the storm, we will not be out here. We will not be out here on the beach just because it's a concern. We'll be someplace just kind of away from the beach as all this is happening. A short time ago, Brevard Emergency Management held an update. You heard from our emergency management director, as well as our sheriff, talk about how we really need to kind of stay in place after the storm passes through, because that's when we could see some of this storm surge. We were talking about that rain coming and going. There you go. It just stopped raining again just about here along Cocoa Beach. So really just some things to keep in mind here. We're also going to see some pretty strong winds in this area. Folks walking along the beach today, and I have seen a few on the beach, really are concerned about the amount of wind that we might see. It's more than we've seen in a while here in Brevard County. We could see sustained winds between 50 miles and 70 miles per hour with some stronger gusts. So that is something to be aware of. I can tell you the folks that I have seen this morning are already prepared. They're already boarded up, or they have their generators. They say, especially here along Cocoa Beach, areas around Cape Canaveral, people take this seriously and have themselves prepared for the storm. They've done all they can do, and obviously are hoping that when that storm passes over us, it's just not too bad. That's it for now. Reporting live here along Cocoa Beach. Melanie Holt, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Those winds picking up over there along the shoreline.
And I was just asking the Mets, Cassie Cremy and Brian Shields are here with us, and I said, hey, you guys said that we're going to start seeing the impacts, the outer bands of Hurricane Milton this afternoon, and they said, yeah, that's still the case. It's still on track to happen that way, and you can really hear that wind in Melanie's live shot there. It was pretty intense.
Yeah, we will continue our coverage of Hurricane Milton just after this break. We'll be right back.
Dr. Box, there were many failed attempts to fix my teeth. I retouched all my wedding photos, and it was even affecting my health. I trusted you because you specialize in dental implants. You created a permanent solution and customized my teeth so it still felt like me. My new teeth have improved my life and changed my future. Thank you. You're so welcome.
Finance the smile you want for as low as $148 a month per arch. Schedule a free consultation.
When I saw the tumor on the MRI, my first thought was, am I going to be able to see my daughter again? The doctors knew if I did not end my pregnancy, I would lose my baby, I would lose my life, and my daughter would lose her mom. Florida has now banned abortion, even in cases like mine. Amendment 4 is going to protect women like me. We have to vote yes.
It's an unimaginable trauma. A woman or girl is raped and gets pregnant. Then she's forced to have her attacker's baby. That's now the law in Florida, an extreme abortion ban with no real exception for rape. No matter where you stand on abortion, that goes too far. Government has no right putting anyone through that. Government has no right making that decision for you. Voting yes on 4 protects women and girls and stops government's cruel abortion ban.
When people stop me to ask, what's my case worth, here's what I tell them. All law firms are not the same. You see, the most important part of anyone's injury case is the firm you hire. The insurance company knows exactly which firms fight for full value and which firms will settle your case for pennies on the dollar. Our firm has recovered billions and billions and billions. $3 billion last year alone. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
As a Florida OBGYN, I'm reminded every day that abortion is a sensitive topic. After treating thousands of women, I know Florida laws prioritize women's health and safety. Abortions are available at any point of the pregnancy to protect the life and the health of the mother. No doctor has to wait until a patient is near death before they perform an abortion. Anyone who claims otherwise is lying. Florida is protecting women right now because Florida cares.
Another hurricane, more devastation, and Rick Scott is only making it worse. Scott took $3 million from insurance companies and let them raise rates and deny claims. He even voted against billions in disaster relief funds. I'm Debbie Mucarsel-Powell. Rick Scott sold us out, and now your property insurance bill is 4 times the national average. It has to stop. I approve this message because natural disasters are bad enough without Rick Scott making it worse.
Good morning. I'm Darlene Jones.
And I'm Kirsten Delgado. We took you here to the Skyway Bridge about a half hour ago. It looks like our live shot here is buffering, but we now know that bridge in Tampa is officially closed ahead of the impact. Of course, it's the Tampa Bay area, the Gulf Coast, that will be taking the landfall from Hurricane Milton. So they're taking all the precautions ahead of time. Skyway Bridge now closed there.
If we can bring that shot back up, Karen Draper, our producer, and our director, Joe, because I want to show people, when we took this shot, I guess maybe 45 minutes or so ago, you saw one or two vehicles kind of going by. That is no longer the case because it's closed. And if we're able to get that shot again, I don't know if we can, but the reason being there's already a lot of water pouring onto that bridge, and that will continue. It will only get worse as we see that storm surge continue over the course of the storm.
I mean, this is a really scary storm, and areas like that on the Gulf are expecting up to something like 15 feet of storm surge.
Yeah.
That was the case for areas like Fort Myers Beach during Hurricane Ian, and we saw how destructive that was. The images are still, Fort Myers Beach is still reporting from that. Will never be the same, unfortunately. So it's something to be taken seriously. So those closures are very much needed and important.
Shelters in Brevard County opened just about 2.5 hours ago.
And Channel 9's Giovanni Diaz is live for us inside. Gio, what are you hearing from people who are going there for shelter because they need the help?
Yes, so guys, we are here in Cocoa, where this location just opened about 2 hours and 40 minutes ago. We are hearing from people that they really want to have a safe place to stay, to spend the night, and to wait for the storm. Actually, we have seen entire families bringing their pets here, food, blankets. This is one of the 3 locations that the county opened for shelter. This is an option that goes especially for families who live in mobile homes and low-lying areas of the county. This is a general population shelter, so when folks come in here, they get their IDs checked, and deputies check if the person is a registered sex offender, because again, this is a general population shelter, so there's a lot of children here. Our senior citizens are here also. This place is being secured by the deputies of Brevard County, here with the Brevard County Sheriff's Office. And I want to talk here with Sherry Murphy. She is a new Brevard County resident. She moved here just about a year ago. Why did you decide to come here today, Sherry?
Because I'm scared of this storm. I've rode out several of the ones in Florida, but this one's really scaring me.
What makes it scary for you?
Because it's wider than the whole state. So when it comes across, you know, we're going to get water from both sides, and it spins around. We're just going to get flooded, and the wind gusts up to 90 some miles an hour. Yeah, when you live in a mobile home, that's not your best bet. So that's why I decided to bring me and my 2 dogs down here today. So
I want to talk about your dogs as I see here. Who is this one that's with you right now?
This is Little Man.
Little Man.
Yeah. This is he's half Jack Russell and half Chihuahua.
Okay.
So he's a Chi Russell.
Okay. So I hope you and Little Man are safe, and be safe while we wait for the storm to pass. Thank you for talking with us.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, so this location here will be open until at least tomorrow. This is one of the 3 locations that are open here in the county. Again, the county has a couple of other places that are available to become shelters in case these locations run out of space, but so far that's what the county has available for the folks who need a place to stay while we wait for the storm. Reporting live at Brevard County, I'm Giovanni Diaz, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Gio. Our coverage of Hurricane Milton continues after break. We'll have the latest with our team of certified meteorologists, Cassie Cremy and Brian Shields, just after this break.
Advent Health wants to keep you safe and healthy during Hurricane Milton. Starting 8 a.m. Wednesday through 8 p.m. Thursday, we're offering free urgent care video visits for common health conditions. Just download the Advent Health app and use code Milton. For more information, visit AdventHealthVideoVisits.com. Be well and know Advent Health is always here for your whole health.
At La Mesa and Rec Van, get the right RV at the right price right now. This new Winnebago Travato is newly discounted at over $82,000. La Mesa and Rec Van, the world's largest motorhome dealer. Visit LaMesaRV.com today.
I was riding my bicycle home and was struck by a commercial vehicle. I am glad that I contacted Mr. Leach, and thanks to him and his firm, they were able to recover $2.3 million for my pain and suffering. You should choose Mr. Leach. That's a fact.
It's an unimaginable trauma. A woman or girl is raped and gets pregnant. Then she's forced to have her attacker's baby. That's now the law in Florida, an extreme abortion ban with no real exception for rape. No matter where you stand on abortion, that goes too far. Government has no right putting anyone through that. Government has no right making that decision for you. Voting yes on 4 protects women and girls and stops government's cruel abortion ban.
Don't wait to get your dream kitchen. We can bring your vision to life in as little as 3 to 5 days. You'll love our high-quality materials and our amazing prices. Visit us online at kitchensaver.com. What does living a vibrant life mean to you?
It means enjoying my retirement and exploring places I've always dreamed of. That's why I chose a Medicare Advantage plan that puts money back in my pocket so I can enjoy more out of life.
Contact Care Plus to learn more.
Whoa, make that switch.
Last year, over 5,000 customers made the switch to City Kia, and you can too. Save up to $8,000 on select new City Kia. Visit us at citykia.com.
Celebration.
After an on-the-job injury, you might not know what to do, and the process can be an uphill battle. It takes time, filing lots of paperwork, gathering evidence, and outsmarting employer excuses. Luckily, if you've been injured on the job, this is one uphill battle you don't have to fight alone. At Fair & Farah, we've been winning workers' compensation cases for decades. Experience can make all the difference, so put ours to work for you. Fair & Farah, here for you, here for good.
At La Mesa and Rec Van, get the right RV at the right price. Right now, this new Thor Omni is newly discounted over $119,000. La Mesa and Rec Van, the world's largest motorhome dealer. Visit LaMesaRV.com today.
Stay with Channel 9 Eyewitness News as we track Milton.
Good morning, I'm Darlene Jones, and we continue to track Hurricane Milton here on Eyewitness News.
Welcome back. I'm Kirsten Delgado taking a live look here. I'm just going to double check. This is Skyway Bridge, is that correct?
Skyway Bridge.
Skyway Bridge here, and it is closed because you can see the impacts of Hurricane Milton already. Not even making an impact, landfall, still hours and hours away, and it's still having an impact there from the outer bands on that bridge, closing it ahead of time to make sure people are home and that things are nice and safe.
And this, Kirsten, is why there is a mandatory evacuation for that area. About 3 million people in the Tampa Bay area, and our reporter there, Channel 9 Shannon Butler, covering Hurricane Milton from the Tampa Bay region, showing us over the last 24 hours, people have listened to those warnings from not only the mayor of Tampa, but also the governor telling people to get out of the Tampa Bay area and get to a safer location.
It's been interesting to see the state and local officials really giving the same, I'll call it, harsh message, but it's harsh because it's honest and they want to make sure you understand what they're saying, and that is, if you don't get out, you may not survive. That was this thing from the Tampa mayor, from the governor, from Rick Scott, from Marco Rubio. Everyone from state to local officials are really being tough on people because they really want that sense of urgency that you need to get out. And we saw those long lines on all our major highways leading up to today. So people are heeding those warnings to evacuate.
Certified meteorologist Brian Chills is in Severe Weather Center 9. And Brian, I know this has jogged a little bit to the south, but as you explained to us in the last half hour, this storm is still wide.
Yeah, not many changes, just watching wobbles, and you're right, that's a very good point, Darlene, just the width of it, and you look at the cone, it is going to be wider than the cone. The cone is just where the center may go, so any little shift north, we had a little shift north earlier, any sort of shift doesn't really change too much for here in Central Florida. That's more critical for where it comes on shore with that big storm surge along for our friends over toward the west coast of Florida, but by 8 o'clock, winds will be near 125 miles per hour, Category 3, and then making landfall near Anna Maria Island. Could could be right near Sarasota, and then working in. And as it works in, it will be on top of us as we get into tonight as a hurricane, no doubt. We're going to be seeing those very strong winds and definitely scarier at night. These things always seem to kind of find us at night. Now, here it is, and you can see it not as well defined as when I joined you after midnight. You could see just losing, its eye is still there, but not as defined, and it's on track. That's exactly what we expected, and this will be lifting its way up to the north and northeast, rather, into our direction. Now, also in the short term, we're going to monitor that tornado threat. Tornado watches are out. Here is the center of this. This is very strong winds here. Let me flip over here and kind of zoom down. Tornado warning, 3 of them right here, Naples, Fort Myers area, an additional 3 tornado warnings over here in South Florida. And this is what's working our way initially. So we're going to see that tornado threat, especially for our southern counties. Cassie and I are monitoring that as this kind of progresses to the north. And then tonight, we're going to see the hurricane moving in. All the rain we have right now is part of Milton. It's just not severe where we are. Then we're catching some breaks in that, which is going to be nice, but that severe threat just to the south of us. So here it is on Future Track, the center here. All hurricanes are different. This one's going to have a lot of dry pockets on the south side of it, and you can see that here. This is 5 o'clock. Center here. Here's Tampa, Orlando, Daytona Beach. Now, these are the heavier bands that are going to eventually come through in a few hours. That's why it's good to be in place by noon because in these bands of rain, tropical storm gust later today and the threat of some tornadoes. And then the center will be very close to landfall. Could be before midnight, maybe right after midnight. And you see it right here. And what's going to happen with this is drier on the south side of it. To the north, that's where the really heavy stuff is going to be. And in this, the hurricane winds, you can see that scraping by here. So the center, 3 in the morning, will be very close to Polk and Osceola County, basically on top of us, but a little bit unusual how some of the dry air sneaks in. That's because it's going to kind of transition itself from tropical to a post-tropical system down the road. As it moves offshore of us, it's going to lose its tropical characteristics. This time of year, we're in fall, we're in October. They kind of transition to more of a subtropical system as it starts to work away. But in this, we're going to see those really heavy bands of rain where it could get 5 to about 10 inches of some rain. And you see the swirl right here pulling off our coast, more in the way of tropical storm conditions as we work our way into tomorrow morning, and then off the coast as we work our way through the day tomorrow. And as it moves offshore, it will continue to weaken. It may hold together a little bit, but continue to push away to the east. So as far as the winds go, this is generally going to hold. You can see Winter Haven and then south and west as you get back toward the center of this. That's where the Category 2 winds will be. For many of us, it's this orange shading in here where the winds will be around 75 miles per hour with some higher gusts, a little bit less in our northern zones, including parts of Marion County. So that Category 1 kind of hurricane feel that we're going to have for tonight. Now the rain, this is that swath of about 5 to 10 right through here. Maybe a little more north, maybe a little more to the south, just kind of depends. We're watching that. We're going to kind of wait and see where it makes landfall, and that will depend on where the heaviest rain will be. Right, the center and just to the north, that's where the heaviest rain will be. South side, there is going to be that dry pocket. So what's going to happen here? What does this mean for us? How is it going to feel if we have Category 1 hurricane conditions tonight? Well, those hurricane conditions are coming. The loss of power will be widespread. Down trees, down branches. Now, with the winds, they'll be coming in one direction, so the trees will lean one way, and then when the eye passes by, they switch around to the other way, and it's a little easier to fall. Plus, we're wet outside now. We are wet outside Sunday and Monday, so the ground's pretty saturated. So down branches, some down trees. We're not getting wiped out here in Central Florida. We're going to have a good weekend ahead. We just need to get through this storm, right? We deal with a lot of storms. Areas of flooding, we'll watch out where that area to the north of the eye is. That's where some of the heaviest weather will be. But the worst weather tonight, sleep in a safe area in your home. For a lot of us, that is just simply the bedroom. But again, safe spot away from windows for tonight to be safe. And if you have trees on one side of your home, sleep on the other side of your home. Well, much more county by county and watching those tornado warnings to the south just ahead. And we will send it back to Kirsten and Darlene.
All right, thanks a lot, Brian. Our coverage of Hurricane Milton continues just after the break. We have a team of reporters scattered across Central Florida and the state. We'll be right back.
When people stop me to ask, what's my case worth, here's what I tell them. All law firms are not the same. You see, the most important part of anyone's injury case is the firm you hire. The insurance company knows exactly which firms fight for full value and which firms will settle your case for pennies on the dollar. Our firm has recovered billions and billions and billions. $3 billion last year alone. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
It's an unimaginable trauma. A woman or girl is raped and gets pregnant. Then she's forced to have her attacker's baby. That's now the law in Florida, an extreme abortion ban with no real exception for rape. No matter where you stand on abortion, that goes too far. Government has no right putting anyone through that. Government has no right making that decision for you. Voting yes on 4 protects women and girls and stops government's cruel abortion ban.
Kitchen Saver is the industry's leading solution for modern kitchen remodeling. These cabinets have been through some wear and tear, but the frame is still in great shape. The colors and styles will be updated by replacing the doors, the drawers, and the hardware. Contractors can take months to complete a kitchen remodel, while we update your existing kitchen within 3 to 5 days with less mess and less inconvenience. If you're looking for an easy and affordable kitchen remodel, call Kitchen Saver today to claim our special offer.
Hey, this is the Good Greek Spiro, and today I'm speaking to you about Good Greek's partnership with the American Red Cross in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. As a family-owned company based in Florida, we understand the hardships that come with these unexpected events and are committed to standing with you during these difficult times. For over 140 years, the American Red Cross has been providing compassionate support to millions of victims of catastrophes like Helene by providing shelter and hope to those that need it. From our Good Greek family to yours, we are with you. Please donate to the Red Cross today.
Right now at the Rooms to Go Fall Mattress Sale, save big thanks to this very special mattress offer. Get a king-size mattress for the price of a queen mattress, starting at just $7.97. Choose from 3 great brands: Kings Down, Beauty Rest Harmony, and Serta Perfect Sleeper. That's a king mattress for the price of a queen, starting at $7.97. Plus, check out our other great mattress buys throughout the store. Now at the Rooms to Go Fall Mattress Sale. Don't miss it.
At Toyota Orlando and Toyota Clermont, we've extended our payment reduction event. We want to help you get out of your old car loan or lease and into a new Toyota with a lower monthly payment. Through this Sunday, you can drive a new 2025 Camry LE Hybrid only $199 a month. And before you look anywhere else, shop online to see our best deals and to explore your payment options. Then hurry in to get our best selection. We're open every night till 10 p.m. Don't miss out. Our payment reduction event is going on now at Toyota Orlando, I-4 near Millennium Mall, and Toyota of Clermont on Highway 50.
Stay with Channel 9 Eyewitness News as we track Milton.
Good morning. It is just about noon here on Eyewitness News. I'm Darlene Jones.
And I'm Kirsten Delgado, taking a live look at downtown Orlando, where the city was providing the parking garages free of charge. We're now being told they're at capacity. 3,500 spots went in 6 hours.
Yeah, and that just goes to show you people trying to do everything they can to keep themselves and their property safe as we all prepare for Hurricane Milton. We know a lot of people also coming from the Tampa Bay area, so welcome to you all. Glad that we're able to provide some safety for you here as you ride out this storm. We want to get you caught up on the latest because we know everyone wants to know about the latest track, and there has been a little bit of a jog to the south, but still a very massive storm that we are tracking here, and we will have some significant impacts here with flooding and some tornado threats here in Central Florida. Let's get you caught up with certified meteorologist Cassie Crimmy, or actually Brian Shields.
Both of us.
Severe Weather Center 9.
You were like, wait a second, am I on right now? You freaked her out. So no, I'm with you. I was like, okay, I'll take a quick break. But we got you covered. Thank you for your trust as we go through this system. Every system's different, and we made those preparations. So whatever it does or doesn't do at this point, we are going to be safe as we watch this kind of work its way through together. And if you're alone, you're not alone. We got you covered. We're with you every step of the way. So watching this here, and winds still around 140-ish on this. Heavier weather working into the Fort Myers area. There are these tornado warnings down to the south of us. Cassie's going to touch on this in just a second as this threat will be lifting up to us. And you see the center of it right here. So they are now starting to get really strong tropical storm winds through the Fort Myers area and getting closer to the Tampa Bay area. So all of this progressing, and this is what's going to be lifting into our direction. It is on track. There'll be subtle changes, but no real big changes, and really no big changes that's going to impact us at this point here. And we're looking at about 11 7 hours leftover water before it kind of moves inland. So you see some of the dry pockets here, but that tornado issue down to the south that we'll be watching. Elsewhere, most of the rain we have right now is not severe. Now we take a look at the track on this. It is so very locked in. It'll make landfall maybe near Sarasota, Anna Maria Island, north of Fort Myers, where that comes on shore, a big surge, and then it will be on top of us overnight. Now the center is near, it's going to be in our southern zones, maybe Osceola County or just to the south, but the heaviest weather in this is just north of the center. Hurricane Irma, there was just rain everywhere. This one's different. The rain, the heaviest rain is going to be in our northern sections, north of the eye. So it'll be very interesting to watch that and very critical because we know flooding can be a big issue around here. So we got you covered with that. And then this area will be moving offshore as we go throughout the day tomorrow. So what do we do today? Well, we made those full preparations. It's definitely that long day. We're hanging tight. Charge the devices. Know where the flashlights are so you're not stuck in the dark trying to figure out where those are. Cassie and I will monitor the warnings. And then for tonight, the biggest thing to do for tonight, it's always scary when a storm's at night, is to sleep in a safe area. Sleep the safest spot of your home, away from where kind of trees may fall on your home. Not that that's going to happen to everyone. It's not. But trees are going to come down in this system as it moves in, and sleep away from windows just in case any branches want to kind of knock on some of the windows. So that's the most important thing for us. We're inside and we are safe together for tonight. Now let's go county by county, get into the winds, get into the tornado threat with Cassie. Now you go.
Now it's my turn. Yeah, I want to show you kind of a broader view of what's going on down in parts of South Florida. I also want to keep looking at Brian. Keep working up there, Brian. There we go, down southern portions. From what I can see here, we've got at least 6. We might have actually a 7th kind of embedded within there of tornado warnings. Fort Myers, really some nasty weather moving on shore there. Also, as we move northward up towards Sarasota. But again, all of these little cells are giving us little spin ups, and we're going to be watching this as it lifts northward. So a tornado watch is in place for most of South Florida, including Polk and Osceola County. Really going to be watching this closely over the next couple of hours of getting some of those armbands. You can see right now, most of our southern locations are actually a little bit on a quiet side. We've got a little bit of a gap in the rain there. Northward, we are still seeing some heavy rainfall. We've got excessive rain that's already fallen in parts of Flagler County. You can see heavy rainfall in parts of Volusia County as well. So I want to take you through the remainder of the day into this afternoon. Really, we can start to shift this because it's now lunchtime, but scattered rainfall and getting where you need to be. Now, as we get you into the afternoon, this is when the heavier rain is going to start to arrive. This is when our tornado threat starts to arrive. Tonight is really when we'll start to get those winds picking up. The rain's going to pick up, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get some of those outages that Brian was talking about for the power outages. Overnight, early tomorrow morning is when it is going to be the worst weather here for us in Central Florida. Heavy pockets of rain, 8 to 14 inches in some spots. There will be some that will get less than that, especially on the south side of that storm system. And wind gusts 75 to 110 in some locations. This will lead to some widespread power outages. By midday Thursday, we're still watching for some major coastal impacts. Rain and wind still pleasant. We'll be watching for that surge, the coastal flooding potential, the potential erosion over at our coastline. And then by Thursday evening, it does become breezy, but getting some of those improvements. So I do want to take you, I'm going to step off here and get my little handy desk, but I want to pull in some of those county by counties for you. Again, Polk County is going to be one of our harder hit locations because it's going to be the closest to the storm when the storm is at its strongest for us here in Central Florida. Moving in from the west coast, it's going to reach areas of southern Polk County first. This is where I think we could get some of those wind gusts 100 plus. So areas near Fort Meade, Lakeland, Winter Haven, all keeping an eye out there. I also think that near the eye and south of the eye, which is also where we're going to have the heaviest winds, is where we're going to have some of the lighter rain totals. So I've adjusted some of our rain totals for Polk, Osceola, and Brevard County, 3 to about 8 inches. But again, watching that very closely. Communities in Osceola County, you can see Holopaw, Harmony, Kenansville, all expect wind gusts 90 to 90 miles per hour plus. Down in Brevard County, especially on the south side of the county, we're looking at 90 plus mile per hour gusts. Sustained, probably 75 into that 90 mile per hour range. The further north we go in Brevard County, our winds and our wind gusts will lighten just a bit, but but just a bit, because this is going to be a very large storm system with a very large wind field. So we take you into Seminole County. You can still see anticipating wind gusts there, 75 miles per hour or even greater through the early Thursday morning hours. Volusia County on Thursday, the timing there, gusts over 80, 10 to potentially 14 inches of rainfall. Watching for the surge at the coastline. That's the case in Flagler County as well. You can see in Orange County, wind gusts 80 plus. 8 to 14 inches of rain. We're really going to be watching closely to the communities that have flooded before. Ian, we think Orla Vista, we're keeping an eye on you and the residents there, hoping that we do not have a repeat, but we are going to be dealing with some significant rainfall from the storm system, especially on the northern side. We talk about Lake, Sumter counties. It's a very tall, when you talk about north to south county. On the south side of the county, we'll definitely have some of the stronger gusts. We start to move away from the center of the storm, getting closer towards Astor, Mount Dora. The winds will lighten just a bit, more 65 to 75 mile per hour wind gusts as well, which is what we anticipate to have in parts of Marion County. So worse weather late tonight, overnight, and Thursday is really the general tone for all of Central Florida. Wind gusts, hurricane strength, that means 75 and higher is what a lot of us will anticipate. And again, keeping that rain total 6 to 12, possibly even 14 inches for a lot of people. So come late Thursday and into Friday, Darlene and Kirsten, there's going to be a lot of potentially water and pickup from this wind and rain from Milton.
Cassie, thank you. You were going, of course, county by county, giving exactly what people are going to be expecting in their neighborhood. And we're just getting information from Osceola County. They've released that a curfew will be in place across Osceola County. That does include Kissimmee and St. Cloud. It begins tonight at 8 p.m. until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. But that does not include, of course, first responders or any essential workers like healthcare workers. So again, if you are in Osceola County, including Kissimmee and St. Cloud, curfew goes into place at 8 p.m. tonight until 10 in the morning.
Osceola now joining Volusia County, which is also enacting a curfew that will begin tonight at 8 p.m. and go tomorrow until at least 8 a.m. Channel 9's Q McCrae has been monitoring conditions in Orange County. He's now live at Colonial High School, one of the shelters set up across the Central Florida area in Orange County to help those who want a safe place to stay. Q, it is already coming down out there.
Yeah, the rain just started coming down here in this area, but we are live in front of Colonial High School, and this is one of the 14 shelters being offered right now by Orange County. And we've been noticing people show up in many different ways. Some have been using Uber and Lyft, others taxis, but you can also get here by Lynx bus today, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. But this shelter has been very busy today. It has a capacity of 380 people. They're currently at over 250 residents now taking shelter inside of this high school. Now, as Hurricane Milton approaches, Orange County officials, they're urging residents to prepare and seek shelter, and the county has opened several shelters to accommodate those affected by the storm. And I'm hoping this works. The rain is kind of affecting my my notes here, but okay, here we go. So if you are someone who has special needs, you're being asked to go to 3 specific shelters. The first one would be the Goldenrod Rec Center, which is on Goldenrod Road in the Winter Park area. The second would be the Silver Star Rec Center on North Apopka Island Road. Or you can also head over to South Econ Park. Everyone else is asked to go to the 11 other shelters. That being said, if you have pets, you are being asked to go to the Timberlake Lane Park area. You can also head over to Odyssey Middle School. You can head to Lake Nona High School. You can head over to Carver Middle School or Apopka High School, or you can come here to where we're live right now at Colonial High School. And you know, I mentioned that Lynx bus a minute ago. Lynx is offering free bus rides to these shelters. So if you have no way of getting yourself here on your own, either by taxi or by rideshare, you can get on a Lynx bus right now for free to get you to one of the shelters. But keep in mind, as of 3 p.m. today, Lynx will be stopping its service, again, for safety reasons, because Hurricane Milton is on its way. So keep that in mind. If you need some more information about the shelters I just mentioned, we have it all listed for you right now online at WFTV.com. So for now, that's the latest here live. I'm Q McRae. Back to you guys inside.
All right, thanks a lot, Q. And again, a number of shelters open not only in Orange County, but also in all of our other counties here in Central Florida. Most of those shelters are already open. Some of them opened this morning, others opened yesterday. We want to take you live right now to downtown Orlando. It is raining across the metro right now. A certified meteorologist, Brian Shields, and Cassie Crimmy told us just a short time ago, what we are seeing right now, Kirsten, these are the outer bands of Hurricane Milton as it barrels toward the state of Florida. There were free parking spots available to people in downtown Orlando. Those have been taken.
They went quickly. The 3,500 spots went in 6 hours, we're being told by the city of Orlando. So people are heeding the warnings. They're paying attention. And you can see here, the storm is not quite here, but the beginnings of it already starting here early afternoon. Meantime, the city of Orlando is wrapping up its final storm preps.
Yeah, here is a live look, as we said, over downtown Orlando. We spoke with Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer just a short time ago, and he told us about what crews are doing right now.
We have suspended most city services, but our stormwater crews are still out there today. They will be there probably till the middle of the afternoon, making sure that all of the water bodies that we can draw down are drawn down as far as they can be, checking storm drains, making sure that nothing is clogged, both from inlet as well as the pipes themselves.
This is important because some areas already experiencing flood with some of the rain we've had here over the summer. The mayor also stressed this important message to the community.
We're Orlando, so that means you check on your neighbors, you check on seniors, you check on people that might have special needs, and we're all in this together, and we'll rally after the storm.
All right, Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer. We will be taking a short break, and Kirsten, when we come back, our team of certified meteorologists will give us a closer look at the rain we anticipate from Hurricane Milton. A lot of people concerned about flooding as hundreds of thousands of sandbags already distributed across Central Florida.
It's a massive storm with huge wind situation as well. So we'll talk more about that after the break here on Channel 9.
Advent Health wants to keep you safe and healthy during Hurricane Milton. Starting 8 a.m. Wednesday through 8 p.m. Thursday, we're offering free urgent care video visits for common health conditions. Just download the Advent Health app and use code Milton. For more information, visit adventhealthvideovisits.com. Be well and know Advent Health is always here for your whole health.
Amendment 3 could legalize recreational marijuana.
What do you think you're doing?
I'm getting ready to grow my weed. Amendment 3 is on the ballot, and oh my God, who are you?
I'm Big Weed. Actually, we wrote Amendment 3, so we're the only ones that can grow it.
So I can't grow...
Not even one plant.
So Amendment 3 is not about freedom. I vote no.
Big Weed, baby. We control everything.
I was involved in a car accident, called attorney Dan Newland. His team was outstanding. At the end of my case, Dan got me $800,000.
Involved in a car accident? Call me at 407-888-8000.
It's an unimaginable trauma. A woman or girl is raped and gets pregnant. Then she's forced to have her attacker's baby. That's now the law in Florida, an extreme abortion ban with no real exception for rape. No matter where you stand on abortion, that goes too far. Government has no right putting anyone through that. Government has no right making that decision for you. Voting yes on 4 protects women and girls and stops government's cruel abortion ban.
Buy 5 wings, get 5 free. Hey everyone, it's wings time!
Yeah, it's that good. Buy 5 wings, get 5 free, only with 7 rewards.
Some things on your ballot are complicated, and some are simple. Like Amendment 2, the right to fish and hunt. Amendment 2 is a common sense, bipartisan measure supported by conservationists, environmentalists, and sportsmen as a humane way to manage Florida's wildlife, protect its natural resources, and promote environmental stewardship. So whether you want to protect our environment or our traditions, Amendment 2 is for you.
As a Florida OBGYN, I'm reminded every day that abortion is a sensitive topic. After treating thousands of women, I know Florida laws prioritize women's health and safety. Abortions are available at any point of the pregnancy to protect the life and the health of the mother. No doctor has to wait until a patient is near death before they perform an abortion. Anyone who claims otherwise is lying. Florida is protecting women right now because Florida cares.
I'm Darlene Jones. Welcome back to Eyewitness News here in the 12 o'clock hour. I'm Darlene Jones.
And I'm Kirsten Delgado. Now, recently in parts of Central Florida, flooding has been such a concern just for an afternoon shower, right, your normal shower. So now it's understandable that so many locals are really concerned when we're getting such an abundance of rain in such a small amount of times, particularly in neighborhoods in Altamont Springs near the Little Wekiva River.
They're now bracing for the impact of Hurricane Milton. The big concern again is the flooding. This is a community that has flooded a handful of times, Kirsten, since 2017 when we were dealing with Hurricane Irma. Channel 9's Jeff Deal, no stranger to that community, has been live there for us this morning. And Jeff, you've already seen a number of homes there packed with sandbags.
Yes, we have seen people out here boarding up. We have seen people with sandbags. This community also flooded during Ian a couple of years ago, so they're very sensitive to it. This is one of the homes that we've been showing you throughout the day, but you can take a look at it. You can see they've got a tarp up there, then 5 or 6 layers of sandbags around the garage over there. Same thing on their front door of the home, taking all the precautions they can just in case this place floods again.
We had to put the furniture up in the air.
That was Felix Acevedo in 2017 after he swept out the mud and water from his Altamont Springs home. Marks on the wall showed water was 8 to 12 inches inside. We saw furniture on blocks, stuff stacked on beds, his cabinets starting to warp, and his carpet had already been ripped out. The smell inside was awful.
Oh, we have to replace everything, really.
That was the damage from Hurricane Irma, where his street looked more like a lake. Homes were flooded out, a minivan too. Other homes surrounded by water. That was after the nearby Little Wekiva River spilled over. In some homes, people needed to be pulled to safety by emergency crews in high water trucks. Now, Felix has sandbags surrounding his home, and he and some of his new neighbors, like Jackie Mayo, are waiting to see what Hurricane Milton will bring.
We had a mobile home down in Lake Wales, rode out two hurricanes down there, but I feel a lot safer here, and the neighbours here are brilliant, really good. Everybody looks after each other, which is great.
And she's only been here less than a year, so she is taking precautions as well. And how live again, you can see these orange posts that have been lining the streets out here. Typically, the emergency crews are placing these in neighborhoods where they think it is a real possibility that they could flood. So when the water level does get high, the orange part is still sticking up above the water so that the emergency trucks and even homeowners who may be trying to get out will at least know where the street is versus where the other parts of the neighborhood are. Obviously, a lot of concern in this neighborhood because of these past problems, and it's something they're keeping an eye on and something we're going to continue to keep an eye on as well. For now, reporting live in Altamont Springs, Jeff Deal, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks a lot. Channel 9's Jeff Deal there in Seminole County, where some areas are under mandatory evacuations, including low-lying areas, RVs, those manufactured homes, those areas. They are asking you to evacuate, including anyone who may have a special need requiring any sort of electricity because of the massive power outages that we anticipate. We also expect an update from Emergency Management Director there in Seminole County, Alan Harris, at 2 p.m. today. We'll bring that to you live when it happens.
In the meantime, of course, we know by the time that Hurricane Milton gets to us, it'll be a weekend. It'll be not a Hurricane Category 4, but we do know that areas on the Gulf Coast will be taking a direct hit. Hopefully it weakens more, but Alexa, we know that operations are already underway right now to make sure that people are safe.
Yeah, this is a shot of the Skyway Bridge in Tampa. Within the last 30 minutes, it closed. This shot's buffering now, so I want to jump over to my map system. That's TX10 for the control room, so you all can see that picture that we got from the Florida Highway Patrol just a bit ago. Again, it's TX10 is my map system, so that we can jump to that. This is the picture from the Florida Highway Patrol that they gave us just 30 minutes ago when they shut down the Skyway Bridge. This is in Tampa. We knew this was coming. We had officials putting out this notice early this morning that we expected the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, the Gandy Bridge to close, and others across Tampa Bay. So the Florida Highway Patrol has now shut down the Sunshine Skyway Bridge in Tampa in both directions. This is a call that they make once winds reach about 45 miles per hour or they deem those road conditions unsafe. So we knew that this was coming. Here in the Metro Orlando area, we have not seen any bridges close just yet. What we have seen is the closure or the locking, really, of the drawbridges in Lake County, Volusia, and Brevard. You can see right here, this drawbridge is locked right now because conditions are, of course, unsafe for boaters. So we're watching all of the traffic across Central Florida, really focusing on those bridges to see if we see them close for any unsafe road conditions. But for the most part, across Central Florida, traffic is not an issue this morning. It's calm and quiet. Darlene, Kirsten, I just went out during my break to top off my gas tank around 11:15, and it's eerie out there, very calm, very quiet in downtown Orlando.
It's what my 9-year-old calls. He said, "Mommy, it's the calm before the storm." Yes, so an old one, but good one, little Mr. 9-year-old. So we have a lot to get to because we want to make sure that we're giving you the latest information as it relates to Hurricane Milton. And in order to do that right now, we want to take you to our team of certified meteorologists continuing to track Hurricane Milton in severe weather Center 9. Certified meteorologist Brian Shields there now. And the track's still pretty much on course from that 11 o'clock advisory.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see as this works in. There's going to be these like dry pockets on the south side of it. So some of us, not a lot of rain, maybe an inch or two, which, you know, with a hurricane, that's super low. And then on the flip side, some of us 5 to 10 on the north side of it. So here's the latest track with this. Winds at 145, probably a little less than now. It's doing that weakening, and it will continue to weaken as we get these new advisories. I expect the winds to go down as I look at things. Looks like it's even less than 145 now, maybe about 130, 135. This will roll on shore. Major hurricane status over toward the Sarasota, Anna Maria Island area, and then be on top of us with those strong winds as we get into tonight, and then push offshore and continue to move offshore with a general weakening trend once it gets out of here. I always try to look at the good thing on the backside. This thing will move. It'll get out of here, and we got a good weekend ahead. Hopefully not too much in the way of cleanup, but you see it here, and just looking at the satellite presentation, powerful hurricane, no doubt, but it doesn't look anything like it did when I joined you around 1 in the morning, right? That was, winds were 160. It looked like Andrew-like this morning. Now it doesn't. As it lifts north in latitude, especially this time of year in October, it gets tied into these fall fronts, and that really changes the characteristic of these systems. You see the eye right there, really heavy rain though. Fort Myers, they've had this is tornado watch as well. They've had tornado warnings, several down here. So this is what we're monitoring too. These bands are going to start to work in and get closer to Polk County and Osceola, south of Osceola, south of Polk. Lots in the way of tornadic cells. So we're watching these by cells. I mean, tornadic thunderstorms, areas of storms that are rotating. For us, nothing severe at this point. Some of us dry, others still dealing with some of that rain around now. And of course, windier along our coast at this point. Storms, the bulk of the storm, obviously not here yet. So you can almost see it here. This is 6 o'clock. Look how it really starts to take different form. This is the center's right here. This is the dry air sneaking into this. That means it's going to be an overall big wind maker for us. Some spots, a lot of rain. Other spots south of the center, not much in the way of rain. This is by 10 p.m. That's when we'll get some of those hurricane force winds, hurricane gusts, and even some sustained hurricane conditions right here. And then you see it, the center could be right here by the time we hit 4 in the morning, kind of howling around. It's always a little scarier at night too. The sounds and stuff you hear, especially if you're just hanging out by yourself, it sounds very scary. But we'll be here with you, of course, and our radio partners on WDBO. So we'll hang with you through the storm, and then it will start to move away. But still tomorrow morning, watching out for some of those gusty winds, to say the least, along our coast. coast, tropical storm conditions along our coast, and that onshore flow that's going to continue to give us some of that coastal flooding, and then it starts to work off our coast more so by tomorrow. So as far as the winds go, this orange shading we're seeing here, 75-mile-per-hour winds back through Orlando, a little bit more Winter Haven, more in the way of 90, a little bit less over toward Marion. So what I want to do is take this and break it down. We'll do that with Cassie, and we'll go county by county for you in just a few.
All right, we will be right back here on Channel 9. Before we leave, though, giving you an Earth Cam.
I'm Dr. Gracie Christie, a physician, a Floridian, and a mother. Today, I can't even prescribe Tylenol to a teenager without first talking to her parents. But under Amendment 4, that same teen could get an abortion without parental consent and without a doctor's approval. In fact, Amendment 4 would make abortion the only medical procedure a minor could undergo without parental consent. Amendment 4 is too extreme and not what it seems. Please vote no on Amendment 4.
Are you tired of feeling humidity's relentless reign? It's time to seize control and break the chain. From stifling heat, we'll deliver thee your sanctuary restored, cool and free. Liberty solutions and savings for all. That's American Air, Plumbing and Electric.
It's an unimaginable trauma. A woman or girl is raped and gets pregnant. Then she's forced to have her attacker's baby. That's now the law in Florida, an extreme abortion ban with no real exception for rape. No matter where you stand on abortion, that goes too far. Government has no right putting anyone through that. Government has no right making that decision for you. Voting yes on 4 protects women and girls and stops government's cruel abortion ban.
Another hurricane, more devastation, and Rick Scott is only making it worse. Scott took $3 million from insurance companies and let them raise rates and deny claims. He even voted against billions in disaster relief funds. I'm Debbie Mucarsel-Powell. Rick Scott sold us out, and now your property insurance bill is 4 times the national average. It has to stop. I approve this message because natural disasters are bad enough without Rick Scott making it worse.
When I saw the tumor on the MRI, my first thought was, am I going to be able to see my daughter again? The doctors knew if I did not end my pregnancy, I would lose my baby, I would lose my life, and my daughter would lose her mom. Florida has now banned abortion, even in cases like mine. Amendment 4 is going to protect women like me. We have to vote yes.
In this moment, everything changed. Every choice now impacts a child's future. Research has proven that smoking weed while pregnant can hurt babies. Cannabis passes through the placenta, leading to brain development issues, anxiety, poor academic performance, and physical problems at birth. Any use of THC while breastfeeding is also dangerous for babies. Your child or grandchild's future starts now. Don't put it at risk. Say no to marijuana while pregnant.
Weight loss is about gaining control of your health and keeping the weight off for good.
Medi weight loss can really change your life. It's more than just losing 20 pounds.
But losing those 20 pounds and fitting in those jeans is also very nice.
Medi weight loss, it's the one that works.
Right now, it is 12:30. You need to be where you're going to be to ride out the storm right now. In the last few minutes, we've learned 2 bridges in Volusia County are now closed here. Kirsten, Main Street and High Bridge are now closed to traffic in the area.
Images of tornadoes are already coming into the newsroom. This is in Hendry County, very close to Fort Lauderdale, where officials are asking people to stay indoors. And residents in Osceola County now have a mandatory curfew that starts at 8 o'clock tonight. That includes Kissimmee and St. Cloud.
Certified meteorologists Brian Shields and Cassie Cremy are tracking the latest with Hurricane Milton right now in severe weather, Central 9. And Brian, I know we're waiting on another advisory that will come, but right now you're monitoring where we are right now, which is it's moved a little bit south, but still on track to have some impact here.
Yeah, still obviously right on track. No big shifts with this, and we don't just wait on the advisories. You know, I'm looking at everything behind the scenes, and the winds officially are 145 miles per hour. They are probably down a little bit bit more than that just looking at this, but this is a major hurricane. So again, that is the new advisory, moving to the northeast, still at 17 miles per hour. This is not going to sit on top of us, which is very good. We don't need this to sit on top of everyone, but a broad system, so a big push of water right along the coast. It'll make landfall tonight, either right before midnight, maybe right around midnight, as we work our way over toward the Sarasota area. And you can see how amazingly on track it is. The intensity, that's been the trickiest thing with this, right? We've been watching it together the last few days, and this blossomed a few days ago. Winds were 185. Fortunately, it was sitting over water, so the fish didn't seem to mind. But fortunately, we're getting some of that weakening right now. And then it will be on top of us with some strong winds, hurricane winds for us tonight. So you can see it here. Now you can see how it's kind of changing shape a little bit. Doesn't look like that buzzsaw that it did when I joined you after midnight. But you see this here, hurricane center right there, and it continues to work its way up into our direction out ahead of it. The rain we're getting now is tied to Milton. The heaviest of those just to the south. That's where the tornado warnings are. You can see here, we had some earlier over toward Homestead. Lots of tornado warnings through here. And this is kind of the first big batch. So you get over toward here, St. Petersburg, south through Fort Myers, real tropical storm conditions right through here. It's probably knocking out power in some spots and watching that tornado threat. And that's going to be progressing our way. And again, we're going to get through this. And on the flip side of this, we're Florida. We get storms hitting left and right. We get all crazy stuff around here. But we just need to be safe and just let it do what it's going to do. Hopefully it does a little bit less, you know, not a little bit more, but we'll be safe and just kind of getting through this. So here's a look, a closer look at where we are. Now, the severe storms, the tornadoes down to the south, the heavy hurricane action just off to the southwest at this point. So right now we're okay, but we need to be in place at this point, which Darlene was just mentioning, because again, that tornado threat's just to the south of us now, and those bigger rain bands are going to be finding us, but on track to make landfall near Sarasota. And then tomorrow morning, it is going to be sitting on top of us. The center of it is, but every system's different. Nicole, we were dropping homes into the water, which was so heartbreaking along our coast. Irma was so large, just a big shield of rain. Matthew did a little wobble offshore and stayed away. Charlie did a wobble and kind of hooked in. This one, as from what I'm seeing now, it's going to be a big difference between north versus south of the center of this. North of the center, where generally we are or will be, there's going to be a lot of heavy rain. South, not a lot of rain at all. We're going to see some drier air sneaking in, and then later in the day tomorrow, this will be working its way offshore. And as it moves offshore, just to tell you what's next, it will be weakening and kind of pushing away at that point. Don't see it doing any weird loop or anything like that. So let's just be safe as this system moves in. Now, it's going to be scary at night, but this is what we could do today, a long day. So just kind of hanging in, always those higher anxiety days. Charge your devices, know where the flashlights are in case you do lose power. So we're ready, and we've been getting ready for days. We have done this so many times. We'll be tracking the warnings. Cassie and I are watching down to the south where those warnings are as they get closer, those tornado warnings. So if there's any spin ups, we'll let you know. And then for tonight, sleep in a safe spot. That is so very important tonight, away from trees, away from windows, just to be safe. Hopefully nothing happens to our homes. But in case we got these old oak trees that if you look at them the wrong way, they sometimes fall over on a sunny day. So with that, sleep in part of your home that maybe is away from trees. Maybe you got trees hanging over one side of your house, sleep on the other side and away from windows, just to be safe tonight. And thinking about the kids, that's always a little scarier. If you have to kind of shift their room, maybe they could build a fort today or something like that. Plus at night, they're always scarier because of those sounds, right, Darlene and Kirsten? You kind of hear everything. Everything's kind of amplified at night, but we'll be here, of course, to take you through. Maybe a sound machine tonight would be not a bad idea. Battery powered.
Thanks, Brian. Great advice there. Channel 9's Ashlyn Webb is live in Volusia County in the Edgewater community.
A community that's seen flooding recently just during normal rain. So I'm sure, Ashlyn, you're hearing from residents who are already concerned because they're already wet there, and now we have a hurricane coming.
Yes, and that flooding is a real concern here. You can see they already have a pump stationed out here ready to go whenever the levels get too high on this canal. You can see a pump going down to it so they can start pumping water out as soon as those levels get too high. You can see how close we are to the homes in the area. That's the real concern. I mean, as soon as it begins to overflow its banks here, it could threaten these homes. Like you guys were talking about, they've already seen a lot of flooding in just the last 2 weeks at least twice, and that was just with afternoon rainstorms. It covered roads, stretched into people's yards, and also into some garages. The concern now is Milton is supposed to bring anywhere from 10 to 14 inches of rain or even more. The mayor says the city is doing everything they can to avoid major flooding. They've prepared culverts, cleared out sediment around canals. They're also pumping out a retention pond not far from where I'm standing now, between 16th and 18th Street. And when I was interviewing the mayor, I asked him about how the city is reassuring residents after several homeowners are really anxious and concerned after seeing the flooding before a major storm. He says they have done everything they can. He is blaming a lot of the recent problems on bad city management. They brought in a new interim city manager 2 weeks ago. They say they know that they need to find long-term solutions. They're talking to federal and state representatives in the area trying to find a solution. But in the meantime, they said they have prepped the most that they can. We'll continue to follow conditions out here today into tomorrow. We are in touch with officials, and we'll be bringing you guys the latest. But for now, reporting in Volusia County, Ashland Webb, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Shelters in Brevard County are already open. They have been now for about 2.5 hours.
And Channel 9's Giovanni Diaz is live for us at a shelter in Cocoa. Gio, how are things going there? Are they getting a steady stream of people, or is it pretty barren there?
Hey, you guys. Yeah, it has slowed down a little bit, except that we have folks arriving at this very moment right now. But it's definitely not as busy as it was earlier today when we first arrived here just after 9 o'clock. We are in Cocoa. This shelter location opened around 9 today. We have seen entire families here. They are coming in with their pets, with food, with blankets. We also have seen people arriving here on evacuation buses that the county is offering to bring people here, those who need a place to stay tonight. Now, this is just one of the 3 locations that the county has open for shelter. There's another one in Mico and in Melbourne. These locations are an option, especially for families who live in mobile homes and low-lying areas of the county. This is a general population shelter. So that means that when folks come in, deputies here check if the person is a registered sex offender, because it's full of children in there. There's a lot of senior citizens in there, so they need a place to stay, and they want to make sure that everyone here is safe. The place is being secured by deputies with the Brevard County Sheriff's Office. The shelter locations will be open until at least at the end of the day tomorrow. These are just the 3 locations that I mentioned earlier, Melbourne, Mico, and here in Cocoa. But there are other locations that are on standby in case these 3 shelters cannot accommodate people anymore. Right now, I just learned not long ago that we have about 100, just less than 100 people here staying at this location right now, but we are expecting to see more and more people coming in as the day goes by here. There is not an evacuation, required evacuation here in Brevard County right now, so this is only for the folks who want to leave their homes if they feel like their home is not safe, as we expect the storm to go through this area later today, going to tomorrow. So this is a place that they can come here and stay here. There's a lot of people in there, so people can talk to each other, you know, hang out a little bit, because it is stressful, as Brian was saying earlier. It is very anxiety inducing when we don't know what to expect, you don't know what's going on outside. So this is definitely a good option for folks who need a place to stay tonight. That's the latest here in Brevard County. I'm Giovanni Diaz, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
It's good to see people getting to where they need to be in time and make sure that they're safe. I do want to add, though, we were just talking about shelters, obviously, there in Brevard County, and I'm just seeing here, Uber just put out a message saying that the relief code to get a free ride from Uber to shelters has changed. It's now Milton Relief and the number 1. Milton Relief being one word followed by the number 1. I'm not sure why they changed it, but if you need to get to a shelter and you need a free transportation to get there, Uber is providing that with Milton Relief 1.
Channel 9 anchor Alexa Lorenzo has also been monitoring traffic for us. Some people, unfortunately, out on the road, and we have told you need to be where you are going to ride out the storm at noon. Alexa.
Yeah, it's been fairly quiet on the roads, but we do have, as I click this
sky on right here. Sorry about that. It has been fairly quiet on the roads, but within the last few minutes, we did see a major closure. You can see it right here. It's the turnpike heading southbound right near State Road 50. This is in the Winter Garden area. Here's a live look at crews responding to that crash. The streets are slick. The conditions driving out there are dicey. So if you can avoid the road, we recommend you stay off of our busy highways and our roads as we see some of those conditions out there this morning. Here's the traffic building on the turnpike. Again, this is southbound right here near State Road 50. All lanes are blocked on the turnpike. Moving southbound right here again near State Road 50 as crews clear this crash. It's our only big shutdown right now across Central Florida. We're watching all of the traffic because we know some people are still out and about trying to get in place as Hurricane Milton nears us here in Central Florida. Darlene, Kirsten.
All right, thanks a lot, Alexa. And yeah, I mean, we are going to start seeing, as Brian and Cassie have told us here, our team of certified meteorologists, those outer bands of Milton as the hurricane makes its way here closer to Florida.
And moments ago, we were live for you in Brevard County talking about shelters. I'm going to give a quick update out of Osceola County. They're saying right now the shelters with the largest capacity are Celebration High, Harmony High, and Liberty High. They're putting that message out there because Kissimmee Middle School is now at full capacity. They do say that Gateway High School has plenty of space available. Again, so if you're in Osceola County and you want to get to a shelter, you want to head to Celebration High School, Harmony High School, or Liberty High School because Kissimmee Middle itself is actually at full capacity. Currently, they have 609 people in their shelters.
We will continue to update that information on our website, WFTV.com. Our coverage of Hurricane Milton continues after the break as we give you a live look there of our coastline as Milton heads to the state of Florida.
I was T-boned by a careless driver. Called attorney Dan Newland, and he got me $1 million.
Involved in a car accident? Let's get started. Call me at 407-888-8000.
Thanks, Dan, for winning my case.
Another hurricane, more devastation, and Rick Scott is only making it worse. Scott took $3 million from insurance companies and let them raise rates and deny claims. He even voted against billions in disaster relief funds. I'm Debbie Mucarsel-Powell. Rick Scott sold us out, and now your property insurance bill is 4 times the national average. It has to stop. I approve this message because natural disasters are bad enough without Rick Scott making it worse.
When I saw the tumor on the MRI, my first thought was, am I going to be able to see my daughter again? The doctors knew if I did not end my pregnancy, I would lose my baby, I would lose my life, and my daughter would lose her mom. Florida has now banned abortion, even in cases like mine. Amendment 4 is going to protect women like me. We have to vote yes.
In this moment, everything changed. Every choice now impacts a child's future. Research has proven that smoking weed while pregnant can hurt babies. Cannabis passes through the placenta, leading to brain development issues, anxiety, poor academic performance, and physical problems at birth. Any use of THC while breastfeeding is also dangerous for babies. Your child or grandchild's future starts now. Don't put it at risk. Say no to marijuana while pregnant.
Weight loss is about gaining control of your health and keeping the weight off for good.
Many weight loss can really change your life. It's more than just losing 20 pounds.
But losing those 20 pounds and fitting in those jeans is also very nice.
Many weight loss, it's the one that works.
Like many voters, Lena's open to Amendment 3. But there's a catch. A deal breaker she won't see on the ballot summary because they buried it deep to sneak it past voters like Lena. Big Weed wrote Amendment 3, so they can't be sued.
So they can't even be sued?
No matter what goes wrong, if people get sick, corporations make billions but can't be held accountable.
There's no way I'm voting for Amendment 3.
It's corporate greed, not freedom.
Advent Health wants to keep you safe and healthy during Hurricane Milton. Starting 8 a.m. Wednesday through 8 p.m. Thursday, we're offering free urgent care video visits for common health conditions. Just download the Advent Health app and use code Milton. For more information, visit AdventHealthVideoVisits.com. Be well, and know Advent Health is always here for your whole health.
Welcome back. It's 12:45 here on Eyewitness News as we continue to track Hurricane Milton. I'm Darlene Jones.
And I'm Kirsten Delgado. Let's head out to Brevard County. Channel 9's Melanie Holt is live for us in Cocoa Beach. Melanie, last time we spoke to you about an hour ago, it was quite windy out there, and it seems to be the case still now at 12:45.
Oh, it's definitely still windy, at least at this moment. We don't have the rain, but we know that could change any minute. You can take a look up the beach here. You're talking about wind. Those double flags are flying here. We saw when Brevard Ocean Rescue put those flags out. You can see they're almost straight out there, but that double flag means, as you might guess, stay out of the water. Folks have been, from what I've seen, in the last hour or so, but we have seen quite a few people walking up this beach. One of the concerns here in Brevard County will be wind. We have heard that those winds will be getting stronger this evening, probably around 5 p.m. or so. We could see sustained winds of 75 miles per hour during the storm in different parts of Brevard County. That's something that we haven't seen in quite some time, with wind gusts that are even stronger. And there's the other issue. There is the potential for storm surge, 3 to 5 feet here in Brevard County. You can see the surf is already pretty rough here in Cocoa Beach, and that raises concerns about erosion. And when you're talking about storm surge, even 3 to 5 feet has the potential to actually get up into the dunes and erode away some of the dunes as well. I can tell you that the county tells me that most of our beaches are in pretty good shape here. You run a greater risk where the beach is more narrow, so the area around the south beaches, and even there have been a number. You might have seen the EOC update a short time ago with our sheriff and our emergency management director, and they say, really, now's the time to start thinking about going in your house if you've got everything together, and you should by now. We'll see those stronger winds this evening, only picking up overnight. But obviously, they'll be monitoring the situation here in Brevard from emergency management, EOC. We have a number of municipalities that have their own emergency operations centers, but we also have representatives there with the county. But they're obviously saying now is the time. You should be done by now, and I know that many people that I have talked to, even out here on the beach now, they said they've done all they can.